Hey, I'm Rob from JestaThaRogue.com and I'm going to show you how to play Kyoto No Neko. This is a game for 2 to 4 players, plays in about 35 minutes, is designed by Cedric Millet and is published by Matago. You are a kitten exploring Kyoto, making friends and fighting enemies, growing as you learn how to climb, dodge, hunt, fight and befriend. The cat that earned the most medals at the end of the game is the winner. And why not subscribe for more how to play videos just like this, and just so you don't forget, you better do it right meow. On to setup. Put the central area board in the middle of the table on the standard side. For future games, you can flip it over to the asymmetrical side. The youngest player chooses its orientation. Players choose a player colour and take the components for that colour, as well as the matching neighbourhood board. Players put the neighbourhood boards on each side of the central area board. All 4 boards are replaced even if you're playing with fewer than 4 players. Put the 40 paw tokens face down on all spaces except the road spaces, the home spaces at the back of the neighbourhood boards, and the terrace space with the cat icon. Put the scenario board out and put the 5 mission cards on it. Put the 2 bikes in the crossing spaces facing the direction of the arrows. Put the dice, enemy defeated tokens, cherry blossom trees, and the shuffled bike cards deck within reach of players. Players take a kitten sheet on the beginner side, the one showing the kitten's name, the relevant coloured skill sheet, and a box containing the kitten's components. Place the 4 skill cubes in the relevant space on the skill sheet as shown on the kitten sheet. For future games, you may use the other side of the kitten board and start with any 5 skill points as shown at the start of the growth track on the kitten sheet. Add the stamina cube to the space with the dot on the stamina track. Players get the 7 medals and put 1 each on the mission card, 1 on the bell on their home space, and 1 on the bell in the victory tally chart on the kitten sheet. Players put their kitten on a terrace space on the neighbourhood board. Give a random start player the start player token. On to gameplay where you will move your kitten, take actions and complete missions. When moving, you may move your kitten orthogonally up to a number of spaces shown on the current position of the stamina track. The home space on the neighbourhood board is considered connected to all 3 spaces next to it. You can't move over hedges or roofs until you have the agility skill high enough. This is shown on the agility track, the one with the lightning bolt, on the skill sheet. When moving onto a space with a paw, it must be flipped face up. If the paw has a standee, replace it with the relevant one. For example, replace this cherry tree paw with a 3 agility icon for a cherry tree with a 3 agility icon. You can now even make a skill check against this newly flipped paw or continue moving. We'll look at skill checks when we talk about taking actions shortly. If a reaction paw is revealed, those with the red colour, you must take a skill check before continuing your turn. When moving onto any road space, draw a bike card and move the bikes that many spaces forward. If you move onto a space with a bike, you automatically dodge it. But if a bike moves through your space or into a space with a kitten, you must make an agility skill check. Moving onto a space with another kitten can trigger a fight. If you don't want to, the other kitten may start one. Okay, we've learned how to move and how to trigger some of the skill checks available in the game, but how do you do skill checks? Let's look at that now. You make a skill check against one of the skills on the paw token. Roll a die and add the relevant skill value from your skill sheet. We'll start with what happens when you fail the skill check and the consequences of that failure. If the total is lower than the skill check total, or you roll an X, which is a critical fail, the skill check fails and you gain 1 skill of the type you made the check against. Gain 2 if you rolled a critical fail. For example, to climb this cherry tree you need 3 and is checked against agility. The player has 1 agility and rolls a 1. The total is 2, which is lower than the required 3, so they fail, but gain 1 agility on their skill sheet. You also resolve the relevant reaction icon. If the paw token has a choice of 2 actions, you resolve the one directly below the skill you checked against. The black arrow is for the player to your left to retreat the paw token that many number of spaces away, ignoring any movement restrictions, but the token must end on a different space. So you can end up with multiple paw tokens on the same space. A red arrow is for the player to your left to retreat your kitten that many spaces towards their home. They must move on as few road spaces as possible, ignore any movement constraints, and do not flip up paw tokens as they move. They can't finish on the road, a face down paw, a reaction space, or in a space with another kitten. If they do, they flee 1 more space. If the kitten is already at home, they flee to their terrace. A fail on any skill check ends the player's turn immediately. If the total is equal to or higher, then it's considered a success. Remember, even if your base skill is already higher than the number required to pass the skill check, you still need to roll the dice. There is a chance that you will critically fail. Let's look at each skill check and what you get for succeeding. Against a reaction paw token or an agility check versus a bike, a success allows you to simply continue your turn. For For a cherry tree, passing the agility check lets you look at 3 face down paw tokens anywhere on the board. For a friendship check, the heart, take the paw token and put your new friend in your home. Fill up the spaces from left to right, piling any additional friends on the right hand space. When adding to the second space, move any skill counter up once as shown by the icon on that space. On the third space, move the medal to the growth space on the kitten sheet starting from left to right. Every time you gain a medal, this is where you're going to place it, moving from left to right along that track. Friends can be stolen from the home space by other kittens, so gain another skill when replacing them in that second space. Fighting uses the skill with the scratches and comes in 2 types. Firstly, against a paw token, in which case you add the token to your victory tally, more on that shortly. Or against another kitten. Remember, moving onto a space with another kitten can trigger a fight, or if you don't want to, the other kitten may start one. Players each roll a die and add the relevant skill and the highest player wins. In the case of a tie, re-roll until ties are broken. The winner adds the enemy defeated token to their victories tally. Again, more on that shortly. Hunting uses the bow skill icon. Add the token to your victories tally. Finally, let's look at adding these 3 types of tokens to your victory tally. Tokens are added from the bottom up and when full, loop back to the bottom and start to fill up the track again. Gain the skill of your choice every time you place a token on the 2nd or 5th space. When you reach the 4th space, gain the medal. After a successful skill check against a red token, the player continues their turn. After any successful skill check against a white token, they move on to the next phase, which is to check your missions. Check the mission board. If any of the missions have been completed, gain the medal. Road. This is gained when you cross the road. Cherry tree. This is gained when you climb any cherry tree. Bugs. This is gained when you successfully hunt any bug shown on this card. Butterfly. This is gained when you become friends with any butterfly. Finally, the kitten. This is gained when you defeat an enemy kitten, even if you didn't start the fight. The first player that places a medal on the 2nd and 4th space of the growth track triggers growth for all kittens. All kittens move their stamina cube 1 space right. All kittens then gain the skills a number of times indicated on that space of the growth track across any number of skills as they see fit. This only happens the first time any kitten reaches the 2nd or 4th space on the medal track, so you'll have 2 simultaneous growths per game. When a player gains their 5th medal, the game end is triggered and players play even turns. The player with the most medals wins, with ties broken by the player with the highest friendship skill, then the highest fight skill. The game comes with components for 7 scenarios giving different missions to achieve as you play, and comes with a rule sheet on how to implement them into the game. It also comes with rules on how to mix and match all the different missions from the different scenarios so you can keep the game fresh. That's how you play Kyoto No Neko. Thanks for watching. Remember to like, share and subscribe and hit the notification bell so you know when a new video goes live. You can follow me on Insta, Twitch and YouTube at JestaThaRogue and find the blog at JestaThaRogue.com. I've been Rob aka JestaThaRogue and I'll see you soon.